Hey, what do you think about like June and July? Do you think they'll still be going with the Flex version?
I'm 99.9% certain of that, given where we're at. I mean, they're going to have to make an announcement soon,
Right.
either way, but I'm almost certain, given the situation. And even I honestly think it'll be Flex long term, even beyond COVID, given how long they've been doing it for already and given all of the logistical advantages. There are pros and cons to any format, of course, but
Yeah.
I think it'll stay Flex long term. The one potential change would be that maybe they add in a fourth experimental section at
Yeah.
some point, or maybe even a fifth, 5 sections total. But we'll see what happens. But they'll announce that soon if they're going to do it.
Yeah. I've been waiting for that announcement, but I agree with you. One thing I have talked to, actually, it was a friend of mine whose wife, he's a faculty member. His wife took the November LSAT-Flex, and she actually got into Arkansas. So she'll be attending
Nice.
university, and so that's awesome. So there's kind of like, precedent, so to speak,
Mm-hmm.
for me. And one of the things that she said that was one thing that she liked about the LSAT Flex was just simply less time. 3 sections, no experimental. And just from a I guess almost like the time working on an exam, it's like less time, right? The other thing that she mentioned, which was not necessarily a benefit, was this idea that you know uh, uh, there was a period where the online observer kind of had to like scope around their room, their area, their workspace, to kind of make sure that there weren't any illegal materials. And that was a little disconcerting in the sense that you're trying to focus on this LSAT, and then someone is kind of like kind of saying, well, like, let me see if there's any watches around here or other illegal items around your desk, and you had to kind of move the camera around and things like that. But overall, she thought it was a good option. And that it is going to be interesting to see long term. That would be the interesting thing. I agree. I think probably for the foreseeable future, I mean, just with the vaccination rollout, I couldn't imagine that by early summer that they're going to say, all right, we're ready to open up test sites and take the digital exam. I just think that logistically they're not ready yet. But you're right, they're going to have to make that decision soon.
Yeah, one thing I wanted to mention, and yes, I agree that the Flex being shorter is definitely preferable for most people. I think most people like that better,
Yeah.
as I would as well. One thing I should suggest is that mention to avoid any potential stress about the Flex is that the proctors, that's just bad proctoring for them to interrupt the exam to look around for the security check. They should do that, and typically do that by default before the exam starts, before the timing starts. And so if they don't do that room scan before and they're about to start your exam, you should remind them and say, hey, hold up, aren't you supposed to do the room scan? Which might sound weird for you to remind them of their security procedures, but better that than they interrupt. And of course, they should always stop the time if they're going to interrupt you for any reason. And you can ask them at the beginning as well, hey, just in case you need to stop the exam for any reason, can you please pause the clock? Because every second counts, as you know. And there are proctors who are just like, hey, how's it going? And you'd be like, can we talk later? I'm in the middle of something important right now.
Yeah.
So definitely get those things out of the way at the beginning before it starts. And you've got plenty of time. I have tons of materials in the course on the Flex specifically. And so you'll be able to make yourself aware of all the details before you take it. Thanks for tuning into the show. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already to be notified of new episodes as I release them. And feel free to reach out if you need anything at all as you move forward with your prep. I'm happy to help however I can. In the meantime, I'll wish you all the best and take care.